Aren't we live? Oh, oh my God.
You,
Okay.
you forgot something?
Yes. Hello, are we here? Um, hello.
Ye-
Okay, sorry guys. Is everything happening? Are we on?
Yeah, I think it's working now, right? I'm
Yeah.
muting it on my side. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, apologies. We haven't streamed in quite a while.
Cool.
This is high professionalism right here, but yeah. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to like take one step back and just gonna start
Yeah,
over.
let's re- let's rewind.
All right. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, sorry for doing a slight delay. Forgot to go push the go live button on YouTube. I just assumed that it would just work on OBS. But yeah, essentially, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream, and we hope you'll enjoy this little event we put together. So. I'm Martin, basically the person who's responsible for all of this, and I'm joined by Jorge. So say something nice, Jorge. Welcome yourself and
Hello,
introduce
guys.
yourself.
Yes, I'm George, lead programmer at Amidrop. Try to fall asleep. And I've been with Martin since the start, enjoying the ride, as I said before. And hey, guys, chat. Thank you for being around. You're gonna enjoy the amazing slides that Martin has put up.
Yes. Again, apologies for a slight delay here,
Hi,
but
Taylor.
yes,
And
at least we had a bit
Universe
of a
Open.
rehearse. And yeah, hi everyone on the chat, and yeah, we hope you'll enjoy this wonderful presentation we've put together for you. So, what's on the agenda? What's to expect? So, we're basically gonna do a slight retrospect, a look back at the entire game, and see how we began and how we went along the way and where we are right now. So as well as we're coming from as we're coming back from the break, we're gonna do a bit of a status update and share some future plans with you. Of course, there's gonna be a few tiny small sneak peeks of the content that's yet to come. Night 5 and night 6, and of course we're gonna do some Q&A, as well as give away some free Steam keys for the game. All right, so I believe
Yes.
we can basically just jump right into it. So let's start where it all began. All right, this is a little too early, but yeah, let's talk about the coming up with the game's idea. So essentially, I have always been like a scaredy cat. This was quite a few years ago. This is around 2014, 2013, 2012. And I'm one of those people who couldn't handle any horror media, no horror movies or horror games, especially. And I remember when I would watch like a horror movie at like a getting together with friends and watching a horror movie, I would be one of those guys who would, look away from the screen or, hide in a blanket or some stuff like that. And
Yeah, me too.
yeah, and with horror games, it was even worse because it was more immersive and it just like made it 10 times worse. And particularly for me, I remember when I would watch some kind of a horror movie that was particularly scary, I would feel paranoid the following night when I had to fall asleep. So when I would go to sleep, I would be extremely sensitive to any sounds in the room, like any creaks with the doors or floors. I would be like super sensitive about like the cat sounds, and I would always have like a feeling that someone was like standing beside me in the room,
Yeah.
and
But not
particularly.
just not just the next night, right? I would be like the whole month afterwards,
Oh yeah,
remembering the movie.
it's a problem that doesn't go away in one night essentially, and the
Yeah.
one movie that was particularly damaging for me was Paranormal Activity. I'm sure many people have heard of it, but just to recap, it's basically about like a couple who think they're having some ghostly paranormal activities in their house and they decide to record it. And yeah, then the camera captured a bunch of like creepy stuff happening in their room, and it had a pretty crazy culmination. And yeah, that movie like made me and left me paranoid for weeks, and falling asleep was not easy, and it really gave me that paranoia of like a ghost standing in my room essentially. And yeah, so that was one of the main like experiences on my part. And then of course talking about games, a little game called Five Nights at Freddy's came out, and I'm sure people meme the game to huge extent, but the thing I wanted to say is that like what was so unique about Five Nights at Freddy's is that it basically popularized a new like genre of gameplay. Like horror games before were very you were roaming around and walking through a level, but Five Nights at Freddy's basically introduced the idea of you being stationary and then kind of reacting to the environment and basically dealing everything that happens around you while staying put in one place. And that idea, kind of cool, unique, something new, something no one had ever really done before. And that game in particular, brought that gameplay mechanic to the table. And obviously, that has been like a big inspiration for me. I was also really into the franchise when it came out, and yeah, and then another, I guess, influence for coming up with the idea of this game was Agatha Christie's like novels. I was a huge fan of Hercule Poirot, like the detective with the mustaches. I just like really enjoyed watching like horror mysteries. They would also show some horror mysteries on TV, and I would just like consume it all. So yeah,
And
essentially.
don't forget Hitchcock, right?
Yes, Hitchcock
Martin?
as well. Yeah.
I loved it. This is the scariest that I could get to.
Yes.
Forget going scarier than that.
Can't forget about the classics. And yeah, Hitchcock as
Yeah.
well has also I've really enjoyed his movies. And yeah, basically combining all these things together, I basically was one day like, you know, it would be kind of cool to make like an horror experience where you would be like trying to fall asleep, and then what happens when you fall asleep? You kind of like venture into your dreams. And yeah, I basically was like, okay, let's download Unity and see how we can actually make this. So yeah, this is like one of the very first screenshots I've ever took. I was really proud taking a few planes in Unity and putting them together. I didn't even use Blender. I just used whatever was inside Unity, like the already existing shapes
Wow,
and
this is
stuff.
the early stuff from Unity. Unity, I think it was version 5 or 4, isn't it? Like long time ago.
Yes. Although I could make some basic like shapes like that chair, that flower, some tables, and this magnificent giant clock. For some reason, I just like couldn't figure out how to like make like the level, like the room itself, because I had to like invert the normals. But yeah, essentially, I basically understood, okay, I'm just gonna need some help here, and I haven't even begun to touch like programming. This was just like putting like the level itself together. So I went to one of the best resources where you can find teammates, and it's on Reddit. Yeah, not very
I need a
typical.
team. Wow.
Yeah, so most people, I guess, would go on Fiverr, or I'm not sure. Maybe just like go to like game developer conventions. You just like try to network it there and find people who would be down to help you out and join your team. But yeah, I
Mm.
basically went to Reddit, found this awesome subreddit called I Need a Team, and basically in this subreddit you can basically post like a job offering or like a position, and you can negotiate like okay, what would each party offer and gain in this collaboration essentially. And yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
man. When I saw your post, I researched the game a little bit, and then I saw that in the database, the game was pretty high actually. So I thought, oh my goodness, this project looks really good.
Mm.
And then I text you, on Reddit, and then we started. We had a meeting. by that time, I think your English wasn't that good, actually.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, English is not my, main language. I'm Latvian,
Yeah,
so Eastern
yeah.
European
But now
is.
it's so much better.
Yeah, now it's a lot better. So I've gotten used to it, so more or
Yeah.
less. But yeah, we
You were
basically.
really young, man. You were
Oh
like
yeah,
17 or something. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I was quite fresh, so to say. And yeah, essentially, we basically got a contact. We started messaging like first on Skype, then we went to Slack, which was more professional and made for actual
Yeah,
developers, and then we basically
yeah,
switched to Discord for communication.
yeah. Discord in the end.
And yeah, at the beginning it was a bit messy because I was an amateur. I'm sure Jorge was also. I mean, he was more competent than me, I'd say, maybe. But
Well, I don't know, sure. Maybe programming, yeah, but we were learning, man.
well, did you have
That
any
was
like game development experience back then, or you were just starting
yeah,
like me?
yeah. I started doing like a teaching simulator by then,
Mm.
and that helped me with the programming part. And I did some courses. We talking like 8 or 9 years ago, man.
Ah,
And then we learned by doing Try to Fall Asleep and then doing my other projects, the way to the stars. Yeah, it
nice,
was amazing.
awesome. So yeah, basically, well, on my part, I was basically starting from scratch. I had no knowledge whatsoever. I had no idea how Unity works. I could barely put together like a level, but not to mention
Wow.
all the programming and game mechanics and logic.
I
So,
remember with the Git. Remember we had some issues with Git at the start.
oh yeah, we had to figure out how, okay, we're gonna work on this game, right? And we had to figure out how, okay, how are we gonna synchronize our work and like make sure that like when Jorge writes a script and I like make a model or make a new level, how are we gonna put these changes together? And yeah, there's a thing called Git which you can use to basically register like your
Synchronize.
changes, and then you can push it up to a cloud, and then your entire game lives in the cloud. And it's yeah, it's basically the way how any software developer can push their changes and work up uh, in the cloud, and it's synced up for everyone. So yeah, that was quite a hassle to set up. But at the beginning, yeah, it was quite messy, and I was also trying to figure things out. And the first thing that we kind of did was just like, okay, figure out what we wanted to happen. So we have this level, and we want things to happen. So, and what would be the preferable gameplay loop for this? And we just I
Wow.
basically started to put together some diagrams. This is not the best like example. This is like one of the earliest. Like you should have like arrows and stuff show where
Oh
things
my
go
goodness.
and stuff. So
I
yeah.
remember you will bring this one. The first one were not that specific, no, but you will bring them to me, and I was like, wow, this is really impressive. It's very clear.
Yeah.
It was great to do the programming, man.
Yeah, so obviously we make better flowcharts, but this is like how
Yeah.
this started, and
Wow.
yeah, we would just like basically write a basic flowchart and then just like write a lot of little comments here and there and share some ideas and criticize it, and actually we would use this as the base to write the code essentially for the entire game.
Yeah.
And then yeah, basically sometime later we basically published the very first alpha. And the very first alpha was very simple. It basically has a very similar layout to what is already in the early access. It just was slightly different. Like you didn't have the 180 degrees of like freedom where you could like look to your left, to your right, and in front of you. You just like had like half of that, like with this layout. And then yeah, here we can see like the early footage of how the game looked. Very basic textures, unoptimized models.
Ah.
Yeah, very barren and empty. And yeah, we
Yeah. It's the
also
basics.
got the first people to play the game actually here. So yeah, this is
Was that the first streamer?
yeah, not the stream. I'd say it's more the first Let's Play.
Let's play. Right.
I think people started to stream it like when we got to the beta, but when we launched the alpha, no one really streamed it, and back then it was more popular, I guess, to do let's plays. But yeah, this is like one of the first streamers or let's players. Shout out to Shazammer on YouTube. And yeah,
Wow,
really awesome. Basically,
amazing.
it was really awesome to see like other people play your game, right? Because up until now you just like made it, and it's quite an interesting experience to see how people take your game and they play it and share their feedback and see them struggle a bit here and there, but it's for alpha it's not that bad because you can take that and use it as a feedback to improve and fix things. And
Yeah,
that's
the
what
first
exactly we
monster,
did.
no?
Sorry?
The skeleton. The first monster, the skeleton, right?
Yeah, this was basically a basic Unity asset store placeholder because at the time we didn't have a dedicated character modeler who would be able to like sculpt the monsters, rig them and animate them. So we kind of had to put something in the game just to have some kind of an antagonist, I guess, and
Yeah,
yeah, this is what we could come up with. A spooky, scary skeleton.
yeah,
And yeah, this is basically like this skeleton. I guess I can share. This is basically the very first incarnation of Bert that's in the game right now. So the tall, creepy monster with long fingers. This is basically like his very first version or envision, so to say. And yeah, basically after some refinement, first beta, and this time we launched it on more places, not just because the album was launched only on IMDb, sorry, IndieDB. It's not a movie,
in
but
the
yeah,
DB.
IndieDB, and this time we launched it on GameJolt and itch.io, and yeah, we can talk about it later. But I think because we launched on these two more platforms, I think this is what helped the game to like really explode initially in popularity.
Yeah, in the DB, I think I remember it was very well rated among the other indies when I first started joining you.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing
Right at the
really
top.
against IndieDB, but it does seem a little bit outdated compared to like what itch.io or GameJolt is doing right now. Like they seem to be a little bit more refined and polished, and but yeah, I guess
Yeah,
IndieDB is classic.
yeah. For each EO is definitely the place for indies and to download stuff. It's amazing now.
Yeah,
But if you look at the statistic in IndieDB, now the rank we got like is 3,000 out of 66,000, and I remember by that time it was really even higher. So I thought, oh my goodness, this project is gonna be amazing. So that
yeah,
really convinced me to work with you.
hell yeah. And
It's
yeah,
amazing.
and with the beta, basically we were able to do basically we found some people who were down to help us with making some awesome monsters. And yeah, shout out to our um, team member Will, who unfortunately isn't here, but yeah, yeah, he's the guy who has helped us to create these fantastic, detailed, and scary looking monsters. And thanks to him, we've been able to like level up the quality of the game considerably. And yeah, basically this
Yeah,
is where we introduced like the classic layout. We have 180 degrees of field of view. You didn't have like the previous 90 degrees, and we just basically switched the bed around a little bit. So you had the window in the front, door to your left, and then like a closet and AB on your right. And yeah, we also considerably improved the visuals and all the textures and all of that.
wow, much better than the initial skeleton.
Yeah, certainly way less barren. And yeah, uncomparable to the skeleton. And yeah, essentially, yeah, we just launched it. And then, yeah, the storm was coming basically. And like one by one,
Boom.
like these big YouTubers started like to pick up the game and play it. And we had, well, we well, I guess I wouldn't say we didn't think that it would do well. I mean, it's just like we just didn't have any like expectations whatsoever, right?
Yeah, the game wasn't even in Steam by then. I remember.
Yeah, it was literally just a demo, just a proof of concept, and yeah, just something like an idea that we kind of put out there, and it seemed that people like were really resonating with the game, and they really enjoyed like the concept behind it. And I guess maybe
Yeah,
what's up?
I remember. Sorry, I remember when some good streamers started, American streamers started to stream them and let's play and stuff. And then I remember telling you, man, the one that we need now to play is PewDiePie.
Yeah, and then it
And then
happened.
the next day you called me, man, and said like, check out YouTube, man. I remember I had like a chicken skin. Is that how you call it, man?
Oh yeah, goosebumps, goosebumps.
Goosebumps, man. I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it when PewDiePie was there playing it. Oh my goodness, amazing the feeling, man.
yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I remember when like one of my closest friends called me, and he was like literally crying and saying like, "Dude, you know who played your game? It's PewDiePie."
No, he wasn't crying, was it?
Well, he was on the brink of crying. I could like hear him like getting teary-eyed, and yeah, so wholesome. God bless him.
Oh,
Uh,
amazing.
but yeah, quite a roller
That was
coaster.
so nice.
Quite a roller coaster,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we weren't that well prepared for it. Back then, we didn't have like any socials, and we didn't. Yeah, it didn't include them in the game. So I guess that kind of explains why like our community is so tiny and small,
Yeah.
and we weren't able like to capture like a huge following. And this is like one of the biggest mistakes we kind of regret, kind of
Yeah.
letting
I
happen.
remember telling you, man, we need to quickly put in Steam, man. We need to start getting some
Yeah.
traction there.
Yeah, because like this huge like attraction comes and goes, and like and nowadays like things like are just like things pop up for a day and then they become irrelevant. It's just
Yeah.
like how it has kind of become thanks to like short form like content and TikTok. Like people just don't want to spend too much time on one thing, and yeah, it's like internet is not what it used
Yeah,
to
man.
be, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah. The scene has changed a lot. Like there's so many more indies as well now. A lot of competition.
Yeah, very saturated and
It's
stuff.
interesting. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I guess giving like a rough plan and share some future estimates, because like people like saw this cool game. Oh, it's really nice, but then they had no idea what's gonna come of it. Like what we had like planned for it and stuff like that. So I think that also would have helped people to like stick around for a little longer and maybe follow us here and there. And then of course like the thing we should have done, like we probably should have realized, okay, this game has quite of a chance to do quite well, and we should do a Kickstarter, right? Because many Kickstarters launch with a demo, and then that's when they basically get a lot of marketing because it's a new demo. Many Let's Players pick it up and play it, and that kind of helps you to gain attraction. And yeah, so going into the topic of Kickstarter, we basically decided to do one, and it was basically like kind of a reaction to like this big success that we had with the beta, and we kind of wanted to at least try to kind of like, I don't know how to properly word this, but basically kind of just bring people along and give them a chance to like actually support the game financially and help it grow and give it more potential essentially. And yeah, our first attempt unfortunately wasn't that solid. We kind of should have put more thought into it and done more research. But yeah, this is how the page kind of looked like. um, I guess it had kind of a cool theme, but I think could have put a bit more effort into it.
Yeah,
And
we did sat down, no, no, and we thought about our stuff, and we worked on it for a bit. I don't know. There was
yeah,
some energy on it.
I mean, we did put like a good effort into it, but I mean, yeah, the main issue was that we were just like a bit too late to the party because this was like already a few months after like the big release of the beta, and then by then the game's popularity had already died down, and without any like proper marketing, we wouldn't been able to like catch onto it again. And yeah, like I mentioned, could have been there could have been a bit more research and polish, and yeah, maybe the page could have been a little more appealing. But yeah, the biggest reason why it didn't work out, we basically had no marketing, and that's the biggest issue that any Kickstarter faces. So yeah, at the end of that Kickstarter, we went for the plan B, and the plan B was to just like release the early access on Steam. And since we already had like a demo on itch.io and GameJolt, we could just like advertise it there as well and let people know, hey, if you want more, there's like a early access version where you can like get more content, and basically support the game financially by your purchase and help to deliver it to the full release. And yeah, fast forwarding a little bit, we've been basically working on it since on the early access, and just like building the game and polishing it. And yeah, now it has been like really nice, and we're quite proud of what we've been able to put together, like with our small team. And the reaction from everyone who has played it has been very genuine and heartwarming, and we're like very proud and happy of our work, and that people like really seem to resonate and enjoy it.
Wow, I love that that photo, man, of the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Team picture.
Hell yeah, the A team, the monster team. M team, but
And the
yeah,
other one stroking AB as well.
yeah, patting AB on the head, so to say, I guess. And yeah,
Good boys.
and again, huge shout out to Will, our character designer and modeler. Like he's the one who like made all these five characters from scratch,
Amazing.
and basically I gave him some ideas, like some concepts of what I wanted to see, and like he drew some fantastic sketches, and we just kind of started from there, and then he started to sculpt these, and then yeah, we just like improved, and I made some comments, and it was very like it was a very collaborative effort to like make these characters happen, and really
Yeah,
awesome of the work he has been able to
Will
do.
is amazing. Will is amazing. And also a shout out to Philip to bring the voice to AB,
Oh
which was
yes.
such a famous character, man,
Yes, people love
in the Let's
people
Plays.
like there are like two camps, people who love him and people who hate him. But like when people hate him, it's not like it's not like pure hate. It's just like I guess it's just like annoyance.
Yeah.
At least that's how I cope with it. but yeah, but yeah, AB is a lovely character. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
this is kind of roughly brings us not to the present, but like close to the present. So like about 2 years ago, basically. By the way, throughout this entire journey, when the early access was released, and we were working on it, releasing night 3 and 4. At this time, I was still studying at university, and trying to complete that nightmare, and that kind of took quite a bit of power out of me, and I wasn't able to like attend to the game as much as I wanted to. So basically, when it came time to finish night 5 and 6, basically finish the last third of the game, I decided, maybe it would be good to do just like one big push take like a gap year for uni, and then I could just like solely focus on the game. I had a bit of I saved up some money and thought I would be able to just like fully dedicate myself to the game, and that's what I basically decided to do. And that's what I kind of. This is around 2020 or 21 essentially. And the first thing I wanted to figure out, hey, maybe we can get a publisher. And the idea was that we basically had an already we had a game that was 2/3 finished, and we just needed some like extra help and funding to finish the last third of it. And we thought that could be a potentially good selling point, right? Because you wouldn't have to put so much effort when you would make like a game from scratch, right? And additionally, the game had already proven that it had potential, to be attractive. And this is like how we try to approach these publishers and pitch the game. And basically, the culmination of that was attending Gamescom. Yeah, 2022, right after COVID. This was like the first big event I went to, and it was surreal being again in a huge crowd since COVID,
Wow.
from all lockdowns. And this was for me like the first convention ever, first type of convention ever that I attended. Like I never went to any other like conventions like these on such a scale. It's just like where I live. These conventions are not that very close by, and yeah, this was a really cool opportunity. I basically so Gamescom is it's basically like an E3, but it happens in Cologne, Germany. And it's basically they have two sections of it. There's like the consumer section, or like where regular people can visit their favorite publishers, studios, and like get early access to their games. And then they have like a business section where all the businesses relating to game development, where like different publishers, companies, like some kind of development support, like game engines, anything you wanted. Basically in that business section, that's where basically I spent most of my time, just like looking for publishers and trying to pitch my game. But unfortunately, yeah, the event itself, like it was the first event after COVID, because since then they were doing these things online, and this is the first one when they did in few years on site. And not everything went as smooth as I hoped it would. Basically, they had like well, okay, I'm not gonna go into details because those are probably not that very interesting. But yeah, it was a bit difficult to find like a publisher and meet them in person. But I was able to do a few pitches, which was more or less enough, I guess. But it was also a good experience in terms of like meeting other developers, talking about their experience, giving, receiving some advice, and also giving some advice from our end. And
Yeah, we
yeah,
should maybe in the future we should meet up, you and me as well, or and Will, maybe one of these ones, man, when a game convention.
yeah. I mean, that would be awesome. I'd love to meet you
It'd
because
be
we haven't
awesome
actually meet our team members
in
in
person.
person. Yeah,
After 8 years. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. We definitely should, organize something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm up for it. I'm like pretty free right now to go to these things.
hell yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to like find a free spot in our schedules and do it. And yeah, I'd
To
be
promote the game, obviously.
yeah, as well, yeah, as well, yeah. And yeah, so okay, wrapping this like topic with publishers is that like I concluded that like pitching an early access, which has already been like released for a while, it's basically good luck with that, because many publishers, they were like willing to kind of help us, but they wouldn't like be able to provide any like funding. And like the funding is like the biggest thing that we actually needed, because we had like the manpower, the developers, right? Jorge, Will, and all the voice actors and stuff. We just like needed some. We wanted to properly reward, everyone on the team, and this is like the thing that we kind of pushed for. But unfortunately, publishers, they saw that, okay, oh, you already have something released that the release of early access, that's a train that has already passed, and they didn't see that like going for like a full release would, you know, give them like the financial incentive that would motivate them to give us funding essentially.
Yeah,
uh,
maybe we should have come to them as soon as the YouTubers, big massive YouTubers, were
Yeah,
like
that's another
streaming them.
thing. Maybe
I
instead of
wonder.
maybe instead of doing like a Kickstarter, we should have maybe approached like publishers and like just pitched the game right then, right? Before doing the early
Yeah,
access. But
I wonder.
yeah, I wonder. I mean, we were dumb, I guess. I was in particularly not very, I guess, you know,
Yes, it's great. It's
knowledgeable.
great. We cannot like complain.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a learning experience. You go and you learn, and you know, you fail, but you can still, you know, get up and have turn it into a lesson and always draw something from it. And yeah, but overall, it
Yeah.
was a great experience attending Gamescom. Yeah, this is a lovely go from Goat Simulator. This picture in particular is very funny because you see the lady on the right. She has like Goat Simulator 3 right on her. On her, it looks like she's like an NPC.
Yeah, yeah. You can talk.
But yeah.
Ah.
Anyway, yeah, no luck with publishers, and we decided that we should go for Plan B. It was basically to do another Kickstarter, and
Yep.
spoiler, it didn't work out. But yeah, let's just maybe go into more details why we wanted to do another Kickstarter. So actually, the idea for doing another Kickstarter came from like the publishers because when we were discussing the funding issue, they were pitching this idea that they could like help us put together a Kickstarter or any other like crowdfunding campaign to basically um, get the funds that way, but they would still, you know, ask a share of that. And you know, we were thinking, I mean, we've already tried once and we know what it's like, what our, you know, issues were back then and what we didn't do right. Maybe we could just like do it ourselves, like this time properly, and do some, you know, proper research, ask around for other people's advice, and just do it ourselves and not give the cut to the publisher essentially. And we also had like many like encouragements from other like game developers who also said, hey, yeah, you shouldn't like completely, you know, ignore Kickstarter. Maybe you could have a good, you know, second chance at it. And we also we thought that like going with the advantage that we had 2/3 of the game already complete, we thought that it would be easier like to sell, you know, our game like on the campaign, right? Because when games do Kickstarters, they usually, you know, basically start with an idea, and they have some sort of a rough demo, but it's, well, you have to kind of do a bit better job at like, or more emphasis on like selling the game's idea actually, and then, you know, because you just have, I mean, that's in the name Kickstarter. You're just like kickstarting something, starting something from like the beginning where you don't have like maybe not like even a rough plan, but you just like have this idea. And we thought that we had the advantage of like, okay, we have 2/3 done, we know what we want to do for the last third, and we can commit to this. And yeah, it would be basically a smaller risk, not as big of a risk when you would do it like you know, something from scratch. And yeah, and this time we also had like a really awesome idea behind the Kickstarter, which I'll actually kind of dive into more. And yes, I'm talking about the revival tapes. So actually, like these, so I'm gonna go into like behind the scenes and explain what these tapes were. So if you don't want me to ruin, you know, the illusion or like the um, I guess the immersion of it. So maybe consider like muting the stream or like skipping ahead. But yeah, I'm just gonna like spoil everything and share some cool behind the scenes stuff for these things because it was really, you know, fun making these, and I had a huge fun. Although it was challenging, I had a lot of fun making these. And actually, this idea for making these videos came even before doing the Kickstarter because, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, analog horror was really becoming popular, and I saw quite a few different like series. You know, the Mandela Catalog, Local 58, and the Monument Mythos, and all of those great series, and they had like a very uncanny valley feeling of like being sort of real but not really. You know what I mean? And this like unlock horror aesthetic of like VHS tapes, and I thought that it could kind of work really well with our stuff, with like our games universe and like revival, and I thought it wouldn't be cool to like make a found footage analog horror project based on our three monsters, and basically, but it was just an idea. And then when the Kickstarter came, I thought, oh, this would be kind of cool to like do as like a almost like a standalone project to help boost not just the game's popularity but also the Kickstarter's popularity if we were to do one. And basically this idea kind of helped us to realize that yeah, we could actually have a really cool shot at it. Unfortunately, things didn't work out like they did, but I'm still happy that we still gave it a shot and did it. So basically, I'm just gonna let's talk about each of the tapes, and I'll share like a few cool like behind the scenes stuff and some cool, I guess, facts and stuff like that. So the first tape, Mercs tape, this is the very first one we actually made. This is in a undisclosed location. We were able to talk with a relative who gave us permission to film on his like huge property, and this was a really cool. This is somewhere in the middle of Latvia. Basically, all of these videos were basically shot in Latvia. But this is like typical Latvian wilderness with huge oaks that were hundreds of years old, and
This is lovely, man. I really feel like living there.
yeah, I mean it's very peaceful. The only issue here,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you can see it, especially on the right picture. You see those huge leaves on the ground. So these leaves are quite bad. Essentially, if you touch them, you get very bad burns. No kidding. This is like a very awful plant. Basically, they.
I think Will. Sorry, Martin. I think Will can come up for the.
Oh.
Will can come to the stream. Yeah, he can talk.
Oh, can
the
we?
Other dev.
Let's see. Actually, let's see if we can like if we can
add it to the stream.
Yeah, add him. I guess we could maybe add him to the call. Let me see.
Yeah, add him on Discord.
Did he say he's available?
I think so. Is he William Martinez? Because that would be like really coincidence.
Yes. That's him.
Is he him?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So invite him then.
Hey Will, would you be down to like join us? By the way, if you have the time, so just write in the chat, and we'll absolutely add you here.
Yeah, just add him to the call if you want.
Yeah. So I guess let's give it just a moment because there's a bit of a delay on the stream, and for a few.
I can talk for a few. That's good then.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess maybe we can just like bring him in, and then like we can chit chat, and then we can maybe continue with the presentation.
Yeah.
All right. Let me find.
Add into the Discord.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna
so with
add
the
him.
The three of us now.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't cut it out, but fingers crossed.
Why would it?
Well, Discord can be sometimes funny. Oh. Hello? Okay.
Oh, hello? It's working?
Yeah, let's see.
Hello.
Yes, okay. Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing? Let me actually switch over to the computer really quickly.
Hey, Will.
Yeah, awesome.
How we doing? Let me switch over to the computer really quickly because the phone quality is probably going to be butt.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, everyone, by the way, this is Will. This is like the awesome 3D modeler we were mentioning before. And yeah, the guy behind all the lovely monsters and characters. Yeah, I guess I can just like switch to this slide real quick. And yeah, we can just like chit chat.
Yeah, Universe team is asking for the Discord link. I think I'm just gonna paste it.
Yeah, I think you can like.
I can paste it on the chat, right? I've done it before. I'm not sure if
Yeah, I
you
think
found
you
out.
should be able to do so.
Let me do it.
All right, is that the beta?
Hey,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God, you upgraded like to HD.
What's up, guys? How you
Hey
doing?
man,
What's
long
up?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. A lot of stuff has happened between then and crazy life. But I hope everybody is well.
Hey, yes.
Your voice shows that you grew up a lot. You got some years.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. So
I think owning a home does that to you.
Uh, yeah, so awesome that you're able to like join us here on the stream, and yeah, we're just basically we were announcing that we were kind of coming out from the break. We did the Kickstarter, and then we did like a few updates, and then we decided that we needed a slight break just to reassess everything and figure out how to move forward. But now we're comfortable with getting back into the gear, so to say, and continue working on this lovely project. And yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool,
covered
man.
from the start, Will.
Perfect
The whole
time, man.
History.
Yeah, because yeah, like I said, I had a lot of stuff going on too. So now that I'm moved and finally settled in and done with the repairs on this stupid house, yeah. So it's great to hear you guys. Great to be back with the gang for a little bit.
Wow, stupid house, but it's your house, right?
It is at least.
So it's not that stupid then.
True.
Yeah, sounds good.
What's new with the project? I caught a little bit of it. Sorry, I was kind of waking up. Had a very long night last night.
Oh, all good. Yeah, I mean, we're just literally just going back into the gear and actually working on, making the last, 2 nights. And we just kind of wanted to do this little live stream to catch everyone up to date and share like what we have in store and stuff like that. So yeah. I guess I can talk a bit more in details later on. I have like a specialized slide prepared for that, but essentially, yeah, that's what's currently up.
Yeah, Martin has prepared amazing slides to explain the history of the game.
Oh yes, we're doing
Nice.
this is like the 10th community update, and I guess we decided to do something a little bit more special, just kind of have a bit of a retrospect of the game, and yeah, just tell our journey, like how things came together, and what things were good, what things could have been better, and just like sharing, I guess, our experience and knowledge and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Taylor is really hyped for a sneak peek part on the chat.
I'm very happy that
That's
there are
good.
at least some people in the chat. It's not like completely empty, so it's awesome to have some people in the chat. So yeah, hi everyone in the chat, and
Yeah.
thank you for joining us. And
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. By the way, Will, how much time do you have? Like, how long can you stick with us?
I got a little bit. I got about half an hour or so. I just got to unfortunately, you guys caught me right when I was about to leave the state. I have to go take care of my uncle for about a week, and then I'll be back. And then yeah, I'm free for whatever.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll just like continue on, and then you just like let us know when you gotta hop off, and we'll say goodbye, and then hopefully meet up again in the not too distant future. But yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Alrighty. So yeah, I guess while you're here, maybe you could just like share like your experience. What was it like, joining the team and working on like these monsters in particular?
So joining the team was cool. Martin first reached out to me. I forgot how we originally met. It's been a while, and it was kind of like really quickly. Oh, it was through a mutual artist. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a
through a mutual
networking.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, networking, and you guys needed to get some stuff done pretty quickly to make it work, so you guys can get the first I guess revision out. and we worked pretty closely, hard for a few weeks to get the characters redone, ready to go, and it was a cool time. I mean, Martin is this. Everybody who's in here knows him so far. Is awesome dude to work with. He's pretty laid back. Um, you know, as far as me working with our awesome programmer here, I didn't have a chance as much because when you're in that programming mode, really not much that a modeler can do. So
Yeah, you can't talk to anybody when you're programming.
oh yeah, when you're programming, you're locked in. And I remember a few times where we did get on to work together, like all of us. Yeah, he was locked. He was in the matrix.
Yeah. I will
But-
mute. I will mute everybody.
Yeah. It's funny because we would try to talk to him and he would answer, and we are like, "Oh, he's muted." He was just zoned in. So it was really good. But as far as working with Martin, we definitely worked many hours together, designing and redesigning the characters to his vision. And I think we ended up nailing it as far as what you were looking for. I hope.
Oh yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, huge respect to Will, because like when he joined, we basically had no budget and we were just like doing this as a hobby. And the fact that he was like down to like, well, of course, we had an agreement that when we would start to earn something from this project, we would have a fair share of it and give something to Will as well. But at the beginning, hats off to Will for and for Jorge as well, because both of them were they saw like the potential in this project, and they were happy to jump on board with like doing this as like a hobby, as a passion project with like no pay at the beginning. And yeah, it's a huge respect for that, and very grateful. And working with both of them has been like fantastic, really awesome, and yeah, yeah, it just kind of emphasizes like why I love doing this stuff, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. The project, when he came to me with it, the idea of it was definitely different and something up my alley. Being that most games nowadays, and not to excuse the French, to shit on other developers, but everybody kind of follows the trend. You know what I mean? They follow the trend and what's going to make money. And I really like the fact that you had an idea of a story, you had a background, you had a vision, and you stuck with said vision to have this game come to fruition, which is cool. It's different. It's got an actual storyline based. It's got actual real writing, real dialogue. The whole idea behind it was very well thought through, and it's not just like, all right, we're gonna make a battle royale and call it done. So that really was what enticed me to even start working with Amber Drop, and especially Martin. I mean, as everybody's seen, he's a very down to earth guy. It's kind of hard to be mad at just listening to him.
Very
But in
humble.
Jorge, of course, yeah. The times that me and Jorge have obviously worked together. I mean, we've hung out in Discords, and just been able to talk is awesome. I mean, the team dynamic is great when it comes to that. There's been no issues as far as personality wise. Everybody kind of like, even when we didn't agree on stuff, everybody was pretty quick to meet in the middle and figure out how we can make a certain thing work better and get it done. I mean, there wasn't no egos to really step on, or to pussyfoot around.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I've been on a few little small teams as well, and that's been a big issue of mine. Is I want to work on something, and I want to work on it together, not just have one person just oh, I don't like that, so we're not doing that at all. It's everybody is really good about thinking about ideas together and going back and forth to each other. Like, does this sound good? Does this look good? What do you think about this? So I mean, that's been awesome.
Yeah, like look at the limitations and get to a solution and try to like take everything into account. I remember having to go through that, and the process has been great, and the work shows it. I guess not, the game is looking great, and
And the fact that we're
really happy
taking
with
time. And that's another big thing is like, I mean, people that are in the live chat, obviously people want to see a fully 1.0 game. And I think indie development is really good for being able to actually take that time, and like Martin had mentioned, it's been more of a passion project. In the beginning, obviously, we would like to get to a more developed place, but the fact that we can take the time and put that love into the game rather than just rushing it just to get it out,
Yeah.
is a big reason why I would continue to help out on the project and continue working on stuff. It's I don't feel rushed and I don't feel obligated to put out something that I'm not happy with either. And I can probably speak for both of these guys at the same thing. They're not just going to put it out just to get it out there. They want to make sure that the game is workable, the game is fun, the game is cohesive, and it's up to par.
Yeah, and I guess on my part, I've been like very happy like in this collaboration from this perspective. Like when I have some sort of an idea that I want to pitch, and like when it comes time to like make a new level, and I present these ideas, like both Will and Jorge have been like very critical, but like in a very good way, like challenging my ideas and making sure that they're actually good for the game. They make sense like story wise. They're like fun in terms of gameplay, and they also like share their ideas. And it's been really awesome that they've been able to like be part of the team in that way, and also part of like the design process. And yeah, that's also really very much needed for making a good game, I'd say.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, we've spent hours and hours of all of us just talking about, not only dialogue, but, just background story and making sure that it meshes and it's cohesive as for the whole story. So it's not just like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So it's been awesome. And again, not to kiss your ass too much here, Martin, but you've been great as far as making sure leading the story and leading the overall design of the game. So kudos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful that you guys haven't like abandoned me due to my like amateurness, because I'm pretty sure I've been very amateurish like in many places. And yeah, not everything that I've done or brought to the table has been like very sometimes it's been obviously you bring good things to the table, you bring average things to the table, and sometimes you bring not so good things. And yeah, I've just been very grateful that you guys like have also have supported me. And yeah, it's
I mean, it's part of the learning process, man. And
yes.
and that's the great part about having a small dev team is everybody can learn together, and everybody grows together, and you learn from your mistakes. Whereas a bigger team, sometimes that gets lost because again, you got the egos that come into play, and everybody's like, well, I don't like that. We're not going to work with this guy anymore.
Yeah.
It's more family oriented because we can have. I mean, we've had disagreements in the past with stuff, but we were like Jorge mentioned a minute ago, we were able to
Work things
figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
And because we are not a AAA team with 500 employees, we don't get lost in management as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Huge. Yeah. And Martin's pretty good for management.
Exactly. It's only one line. It's pretty good. It's not like we are not trying to make as much cash as we can either.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I got to talk to my lead to talk to his lead to then talk to the manager. It's like, no, I'm just Martin. I don't like this. I don't think this is gonna work. Let's figure out how to make this better.
Yeah.
And then boom, we can sit down and talk it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's wonderful.
That has been an awesome process.
All right, I guess I guess we could maybe continue with the presentation. This was a lovely, I guess, catch up on things. And yeah, again, nice like discussion between the developers. And yeah, awesome that it's on tape now, so to say. So yeah. But anyways, if you guys don't mind, I guess we can like jump back into the revival tapes and just kind of share like what was it like making them, because it was like the main big idea behind like the recent Kickstarter. And yeah, I mean, the nature of these like tapes have been like very mysterious, and we've been like very careful to not share too many details, to not ruin, the immersion and like the mystery of it. But since it's been already a few months, I think like it's okay to like, open the floodgates, so to say, and just like, share that aspect, because we did put a lot of effort into these, and I kind of want to, share like some behind the scenes and like some cool facts about it. But yeah, so again, talking about these revival tapes from this mysterious lucid character who did a live stream of each of the tape, and eventually he, had an unfortunate fate at the end. But yeah, so the first tape. So yeah, I already said like a few things about it, but this was the first one that we made, and it was the hardest one to make because again, it was the first one. We weren't sure like how to like do it. We weren't like also very comfortable with filming stuff. We were like always thinking, oh, is this gonna be shit? Is it gonna be like very amateurish, or like is anything actually gonna come out of it well? And we had a good script, but due to the fact that there were these, you see on the right, these big leaves. These are like, I wouldn't say toxic, but if you touch them with your bare skin, they would give you like very bad burns, and you had to be very careful with avoiding these. And originally we had an idea. We had a scene in the script where you would like, where the character like who's filming the found footage, she would hide in this like house that you see in the middle. But obviously you can see like this house was surrounded in these like toxic leaves, and we just had to like improvise and cut things out. And luckily, again at the end of it, we were like exhausted, and we thought, oh my god, is anything actually gonna come out of this? But luckily, yeah, something pretty alright came out, and I'm happy that it turned into a fantastic tape. And then when we added mergs with all the special effects and all the audio, the sirens, and then all that wonderful sound work that Chris did, our sound guy who is a friend of Will's, and he basically helps out with anything sound related, any foliage or special background music. And yeah, another wonderful person from the team who's been like very supportive and has helped to push this project to another level. And yeah, coming and then so a few months passed, and it came time to film the other two videos for Osor and Copper. And for these two, we basically were able to do something a little bit cooler. So for Osor's tape, we found like a really cool location to shoot it in, and it's basically the very like, you can see here, a very edge of Latvia up north, and very unique place where you see, basically this is the place where the two seas met. You have the Gulf of Riga and the Baltic Sea, and then in this like peak here, you can see like how waves from each of the sea kind of come from different directions and kind of meet up in that place. It's a really cool, unique place, and if you ever get a chance to visit Latvia by any chance, I really recommend visiting this place. But yeah, it had like a very interesting shore with like all these fallen trees due to the eroding coastline, and it just like gave it like a very spooky aesthetic, and something a little bit otherworldly almost. And yeah, here you can see some like film photos that I shot from my like old camera, and developed like a really cool location. And this is one of the fallen crewmates in the team. You can see like we were also like worrying about like if when we make the blood, will the blood look good? But I'd say it looks all right. Would you agree? I mean, I think it looks okay, passable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love the fact that in this big, he's holding like a vape. Taking one final, blow before passing out.
So that's part of the video, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he might have like the vape pen in his like pocket, but yeah, not in the video. I don't think it's not visible. So yeah,
Taylor say Among Us reference.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is Among Us gone
Emergency
wrong.
meeting.
Sorry, Will, you said something?
Emergency meeting.
Ah, yes. And yeah, so that's like Osor's tape. Copper's tape was by far the most, I'd say, okay, not the interesting one, but also one of like the ones we spent a lot of time in planning. And there are some like really cool things about this tape in particular that I wanted to share. First of all, is the location where we shot it. So what you see here is an old Soviet era military base, and this was basically a base. It's very first of all, yeah, we shot Osar tape, and then right in the next day we shot Copper's tape. So we shot these two videos back to back, and they're basically both in the same location. Like Osar was like up in the north in this little peak, and then Copper was shot somewhere around this area.
Martin, sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Yeah, could you paste the Discord link on the chat, because I think it's blocked. It's blocking me to share the link.
No worries.
Universe wants to get it.
Can you send me? You can send the link, right?
Yeah, I can send you on the. Let me send you on the chat the Discord link.
Yeah, and I'll post it real quick.
You just post it there.
All right.
See if you can paste it on the YouTube chat.
Send.
Since you are the admin, you should be.
There we
okay.
go.
So you should be fine now. Right, carry on then.
Yes. So yeah, very shot these videos basically a day apart, really. One day, and then the other video right in the next day. And this location is very interesting because it was like a Soviet army base, and they had like this huge telescope that you see in the middle picture here, and they were basically listening for radio interceptions of like communications and stuff like that. And they basically built this like spying facility, but they also built like a whole small town with like apartments, like a shop, a kindergarten, even like a tiny school, and they even had like a culture house where, you know, they would do like plays and cultural events and stuff like that. And it's like an old decrepitated town at the moment because, you know, when the Soviet era, you know, Soviet Union fell, you know, the Russians went out of this place and they just like left everything behind. So, and yeah, this was like a really cool location to shot like Copper's tape because of its like unique aesthetic. But the issue was like when we arrived, we were thinking that this building you see on the left, we thought it would be, you know, intact in place. But when we arrived, we saw that it was like completely demolished, and it turned out they demolished it like 1 or 2 weeks before we arrived. So if we would have arrived sooner, we would have been able to like shot in that building. But unfortunately, you know, they blew it up, and we had to like compromise, like on the spot, figure out how to like change up the story so it would make sense and kind of incorporate, you know, this aspect into it. So that's an interesting like story, I guess. And yeah, so here we have 2 videos. Doesn't look like it's gonna let me play here, but yeah, okay, I guess we can skip these. These are just like very basic motion capture tests of, you know, doing like the special, you know, effects for each of the tapes. Basically, for the CGI shots, we used an Oculus Quest 2. We scanned some of the interior from these old houses, and we were able to extract a 3D model, which we put in Unity, and then in Unity we basically linked up an Oculus Quest 2 and used its motion data to turn it into like a virtual camera. So we had like this, 3D scan of this decrepit apartment building, like the corridor, and then we had like an Oculus Quest 2, which was used as an virtual camera, and then that's how we kind of were able to realize these shots. And yeah, here we can see like
that's not the last Oculus, right?
no, this is like the second one. I think they have the third one right now. So
now, right? Okay.
yeah. So yeah. So once all the videos were shot, they had to be edited. We did all the special effects, all the sound work, and then when we composed these, we had to put them on actual tape. And interestingly, you can still, buy new stock VHS tapes from Amazon. And yeah,
I can see you are like growing the tapes with like a plant,
Yeah.
right? Like watering them as well.
growing tapes in my garden. Yeah.
How come you put it there? So they dry?
Yeah, so the paint would dry a little quicker, and all the toxic fumes would go outside essentially.
Got it.
So yeah, and then of course we had to make the Lucid live streams, which was also shot right after everything else. Like these were made when everything was pretty much good to go. This was like the last thing we ever, well, the last things we had to shoot before having all the things ready for doing like the live streams. And yeah, it was also interesting. We tried to shoot everything in one day, but unfortunately we kind of messed some things up and we had to do it in 2 days. But
Oh my goodness, that is your bedroom?
no, this is basically this is like an undisclosed location, but they had like renovation done recently, and they had like bunch of things lying around dirty, and from doing all the renovating and houseworking and whatnot, and we just like piled everything together to like make the scene look as messy as possible, and yeah, this is what we got.
Taylor said that is lucid.
Yeah, so so this is basically some basically the story of like these tapes, how they were made, and what went into making them. I guess going a little bit back to the Kickstarter, I wanted to like briefly talk about like how we thought that all of this could fit into the our Kickstarter campaign. So the idea was that like we have the game, and then of course the campaign, and then to solve the issue of like drawing attention to both the game and the Kickstarter, just to kind of rekindle the I guess popularity to some extent. We had to do something new and something different, and this is what like these lucid dreams we were hoping to achieve basically with it was basically like a standalone project which helped us to kind of complement both the game and the campaign essentially. And the idea was to create this like loop where each thing would connect to the game would connect to the Kickstarter, and then the lucid live streams would connect to the campaign, and it would just like hopefully produce this like loop where things could kind of turn and hopefully help us reach our goal. But unfortunately things didn't work out that way. I guess we can like talk in more detail later, but essentially, yeah. So why we thought it was a good idea? Well, yeah. First of all, I thought it was creative and unique, doing these live streams live, because I don't think like people in like analog horror community, I don't think people had done like live streams of analog horror before. So I thought that like doing a live stream could be like a cool spin, and then of course like this whole thing about it tapping into other fandoms as well, especially the analog horror community, like in the hopes of finding potential supporters for the campaign. And yeah, and also gave the campaign like a really cool theme and aesthetic with like these, t-shirts and tapes. And the good thing is like the analog horror can completely stand on its own, even though it's like very much related to the game. It can still be its own like thing and exist as such. Of course, this was like a cool chance to bring in friends, help us out, because all the actors you see like in the videos, they're basically like my friends, and they were completely okay with jumping on with this idea, and just like they also had a ton of fun making these videos, and it was just like a very cool time to spend with friends essentially. And yeah, and like I mentioned before, it tied really well with everything, with the game and the campaign. But unfortunately, the result, I think we got a lot further than we did with the first, campaign. But unfortunately, we weren't able to still draw the attention it needed. But yeah, this time the page, we put a lot more effort into it, a lot more research. The page looked prettier. We had like cooler screenshots. We used more GIFs. We had a very precise and short language. And yeah, I think overall the page and the rewards were much neater and much cooler than before. But yeah, why didn't it work out? So we basically nailed it down to 2 points. First of all, is that we failed to gain enough attraction to it, and well, we did like try to reach out to YouTube channels that did cover analog horror, and some of were well, we basically pitched this as hey, we have this cool project. We will appreciate if you would like give it a look, and if you like it, then you can like cover it on your channel. It wasn't like we tried to make it less spammy, but I guess there's no way of like avoiding that. And basically we were asking for promotion in the end of the day, and that's what we should have kind of realized. There are not a lot of people who want to do charity work. I mean, there people do charity, but in terms of like promoting certain project or game like that, it's basically promotion. And luckily we were able to get one or two channels that like one channel in particular, Sinister Heart, like huge shout out to him. He did a huge like he looked at the game and like the videos as well, and see how all of those things tied together, and made it into like an hour-long video. It was really awesome of him to do, and really, yeah, really, yeah, no words really to say other than much, gratefulness. And then we were able to get like a small, sponsor segment on one YouTube channel, and that's it. And other people were like, the rest of like the people we reached out to, they didn't like respond, or they responded but asked for like some sort of I guess price for putting like a paid promotion link or segment in their videos. And some of those like prices were a little crazy. Like they were asking like a third of our like our funding goal. It was a little bit too much for a sponsored segment, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, the biggest, yeah, like I said before, getting proper attraction to your campaign is like by far the biggest like challenge. And yeah, and then of course also the issue of like the analog horror itself. So I originally got this idea for doing these tapes like a year, well, at the time when the analog horror was gaining attraction, but by the time we actually went to making them, basically like a year had already passed, and by that time the genre was already like populated and a bit oversaturated with different analog projects. So it kind of the popularity of analog horror had kind of died down a little bit, so that was the issue there. So yeah, that kind of brings us to today. And so we tried to do like the Kickstarter. We, gave it a shot, but unfortunately, it didn't work out. But our motto, I mean, this is like a DBZ quote, but it just kind of sums up everything that, kind of motivates me to continue. And it's the fact that we just like don't give up. We just, find another way. And yeah, I guess we can just like talk about like the current status and future plans. So basically, we're announcing that we're continuing development. Actually, I've already have done some work on my end, like uh, playing around with the new levels, adjusting like the layout and stuff, and also I'm rewriting the scripts, the monologues and dialogues a little bit, so we can condense it and make it not as ambitious. It's still gonna be fantastic. I'm very looking forward to releasing it eventually, but we're gonna be scaling things down a little bit. Um, yeah, and yeah, so uh, I guess a little personal update is that since like the Kickstarter ended, I had to find a job because up until this point, like the game has been able to sort of like support me. But I'm a full-grown man and I need income because that's part of living. So basically, I've been able to find a good job that pays really well, and the cool thing about it is basically like a project management job. So it's gonna help to complement the things that I do for the game. It's gonna help me to grow my skills in terms of like managing like a project, and hopefully also managing this game, because yeah, nothing beats like a well-paid job that you can actually grow as a person and develop your skills. And thanks to that, I'll be able to add some of my personal funds to finish the game, and that's like that's the plan C essentially. After trying to find a publisher, then doing a crowdfunding campaign, and then just personally financing it. And basically, before I kind of was doing it as my goal was to kind of try to turn it into basically a thing where I could like fully dedicate myself and eventually grow as a business and kind of turn it into like my career, making games and stuff. But at the moment it didn't work out, but I'm still kind of am hoping for that, maybe in the future. It's just like that it's not right. I would say it's not the right time, but I did give it a fair shot, and I'm very open to the idea. If like the opportunity comes and the stars will properly align, I will be absolutely down to give it another shot. And yeah, and it just kind of allows me to turn it into more of a hobby again, because I don't have that pressure of trying to make it as a career, so I can just like focus it on as a hobby. And yeah, I think that kind of gives me freedom. That I think it kind of gives freedom to our team members as well. And yeah, we just again it just turns into more of a passion project than anything else, really. There's no really monetary incentive here. They're just like make this stuff because we like making this stuff, and we like what we have made. So that's like that. And of course, we kind of reassess like the situation, what we can do, like what can we scale down reasonably, and basically still figure out how we can like reach the finish lines. And we're basically gonna be doing that in the upcoming months. And yeah, of course, we're still excited for the last two nights. Of course, it's unfortunate that we won't be able to secure the funding that we would be able to use to fully, realize our vision. But like what we have still envisioned, I think is still going to be really awesome and unique and cool. And I'm still really excited to, eventually share what we have in store. So speaking about that,
Yes. And don't forget the Steam keys, man.
yes,
For
yes.
these for the chat guys.
Yes, of course. There's gonna be some, so stick around. We're gonna, share them at the end.
And the
So
sneak peek. Taylor, here we go.
Taylor, yes. So this is like the moment you've been waiting for. All right, so it's not gonna be like crazy. We're just gonna give you a little peek behind the curtain and just like show how things are looking so far. Obviously, a lot
Literally,
of this...
no? Literally behind the curtain, right?
Yes.
It's literally.
Well, the first we've already shared like a little tiny little thing here. This is like a tiny screenshot of the new level. This is like, as AB mentioned in night 4, like the last night, is that, things are getting really bad and we're gonna have to be transported into a rehabilitation center, and this is basically that location. That's how it looks like.
Wow. And that plant it looks like the first screenshot that you share, right? The original plant.
Yeah, yes, kind of. Well, I mean, keep in mind some of these things are kind of, still a work in progress. Things could change.
Okay.
So, obviously, with time, things will improve and look even better. But I think they already look kind of cool, and I think it kind of, conveys like the ambiance and the vibe that this, level is gonna have. I guess I can say that there's gonna be like some curtains, some class simulations where things are gonna get a little bit more interactive and scary, and things are gonna be peeking behind curtains and making sounds like that. Also, you see this is like a giant window where things can happen behind, and you're not gonna be able to make out quite what happens there, but yeah, the fact that some activity is going on there, should give you some spooks.
Paranormal activity, right?
Yeah, basically that. All right, so this is that, but we also have 2 more snippets. All right, ready for the next one? Okay, boom. There we go.
Yeah, let's go.
This is like the next one. So this also shows a little bit like how the level is gonna look like.
I cannot see anything, man.
Well, yeah, this is obviously I don't want to share too much. I want to properly reveal the level when the time will come. I just want to like.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, just kind of use as to convey like the atmosphere and like what it's gonna feel like and play like. And
This guy's got some blisters, right?
sorry.
I forgot how creepy Bert was.
Yeah.
This guy, Bird, seems to have some blisters. He's been damaged, right?
Yes, I guess that happens, when you're like a scary monster. You tend to look ominous as hell.
Oh my goodness. He need to put some cream on the skin,
Yeah.
Lotion.
Some lotion, yeah.
Yeah. Again, a huge compliment to Will's work. And we have a small addition that he has gained some vision, so his like creepy eyes, I think, kind of give like an interesting look to him. And yeah.
Yeah, you can see them in the dark, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
nice.
Like the idea behind this character is like he kind of starts off like being very vague, and then as time progresses, I guess he would become more defined and like more present in the, I guess in the main character's consciousness. So yeah.
I remember that scene of him putting the tables in front of the door, man. That was removed, right?
Well, I guess.
I loved it, man.
Yeah. But yeah, some really cool stuff here in this level. There's gonna be the layout is gonna be very interesting, and we're gonna have a lot of opportunities. Like I guess like we took a lot of things we learned from the first level, and this level is kind of like an iteration of that. Like just thinking about and implementing things which allow us to do a lot more scares, a lot of like different type of scares and a new type of scares. And yeah, it just like opens up a lot more opportunities. And yeah, I'm very looking forward to how people are gonna get spooked. They're gonna get like sleepless nights, hopefully.
You mind if I share that last screenshot in Twitter?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I actually have
Let's
another
go.
one. So, yes,
Uh,
there's like
another
more.
one left. More. Sounds cool, man. Let
All
me
right.
share in the link.
Yes. And I guess if we're done gazing upon this one, I guess we can check out the next one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, here we go. Ta-da. Ooh.
And there's a bit of delay. You're not sharing the screen with us now, Martin, but I'll see it on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube it should be already there. But yeah, this is like the dream part of it.
Wow.
Yes, some very crazy visuals here.
Yep, I like it.
And yeah, the
I like.
so basically, as the game is progressing, like the main character is, also starting to lose a little bit of his mind, obviously, since things are getting more intense, and he's regaining some of his, lost memories, and yeah, it's just like keeps getting crazier and crazier, and yeah, we have some like very interesting visuals and game mechanics planned for the last, dream segments, and I think it's gonna be something really special and interesting. And yeah, this is like I'm really looking forward to releasing this to the world when it's ready. And yeah, some interesting stuff. All right, and I
Sounds
think
good.
that's it. Yay! I think we finally made it. Only took us like an hour and a half.
Not yet. We need some Steam keys, right?
Oh yes, of course. Yes. How could we forget? And yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I guess here are the keys. Feel free to have them, so to say. And yes, I guess we have a little bit. We have some time for like a Q&A. So if
Yeah.
I
First
guess
come, first serve.
if people have
There
any
you go.
like questions, feel free to ask. Actually, maybe we can like look into the chat, because I think like people still like were yeah, I'm sorry, like I wasn't like paying a lot of attention to the chat. I really wanted to to like do a good job at the presentation, but yeah, luckily
Don't
Jorge
worry.
has been checking out the peeking
Yeah,
at
I'm
the
Will
chat.
too.
Yeah, let's see.
Right. Let me share the screen here on the screenshot here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess Taylor
I think
asks, could there be like extra cutscenes at the start of Dreams? Well, for Dreams 2 and 3, well, we'll see. I mean, our main priority right now is to, finish the last 2 nights. But we do have like a few small things planned for the second dream segment. We already recorded some audio for that, and we just need to find the time to implement it. But yeah, it's on the some things are on the way. But in terms of like cutscenes for the dreams 2 and 3, probably not. But who knows? Maybe we'll have some time to implement something. Sorry, Jorge, did you send something on?
I know. How did he contact you, Taylor?
No, I just like looked at the chat Uh,
The
it
chat.
was
Okay.
previously written.
Cool.
Yeah, it seems like, I guess, Will is away at the moment, but yeah. Yeah, I remember like Taylor had like questions about like the next patch, so I can just like comment that um of course there will be patches, but I don't have any like specific dates. There are like a few fixes and tiny little improvements that I've done since like the last update, but nothing like so important that I would need to like push out an update as soon as possible. But yeah, since we're like going back into working on the game again, I guess there would be more chances for updates to come out. So yeah, let's see. Maybe there's anything else. Da, 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 da. By the way, Jorge,
Yeah.
do you have plenty of time, or you have something else planned later?
Yeah, I think I may have to go as well.
All right, I guess we'll wrap it up in a few minutes then.
Yeah, you can carry on if you want.
Yeah. All right, I see. I
Defining
guess
that.
we don't really have any questions left.
Yeah.
Or
I
anyone.
think
What's that?
Taylor has said something. How long will it take for the final nights to be released?
Well, it's really hard to say because now again, I'm not working on this full time anymore, and it's still as a hobby thing. So unfortunately, I don't have an estimate. It's gonna be ready when it's ready, but yeah, we'll try to be a very cautious with it. Try not to get into like a crazy feature creep, because that's really easy to do. We'll try to
Yeah.
keep things concise, make sense, challenge our ideas if they're really good, and then yeah, just release it. It's gonna be a fantastic day when that happens. I'm very looking forward to it. Of course, I've been like
Yeah,
working
me
on
too,
this.
man.
We've been working
We
on
need to.
this like for years, and I'm just like anxious and really looking forward to the you know to the day when we can finally push the 1.0 update. So yeah. All right, I guess it doesn't look like we have any other questions. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll simply wrap it up. So yeah, again, huge shout out to Jorge. Here is his Twitter. You can follow him at Away to the Stars. He's making his own game as well. Since I've been like mainly focusing on the Kickstarter in the past quite a few months actually. Jorge is basically working on his like own passion project, his own game, an RPG set in space. And yeah, if you want to support him, consider giving him a nice follow and check out his stuff as well. He's like also into some cool personal projects. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Martin, for the mention. Yeah, make it like a kind of a No Man's Sky in 2D pixel art. So feel free to check it out. That'll be nice.
Yes.
As well as try to fall asleep, obviously.
Yes.
Those
Is
are
there? Have
my
you
two
put like
projects.
try to fall asleep Easter egg in your game?
Wow. Yeah. Basically, it's on the credits at the moment, but I should put a nice Easter egg, definitely.
I think
Yeah,
I
let's
should do
think about something.
I guess I should do something similar for try to fall asleep as well. It would be cool to like cross reference it in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll put some pixel art AB somewhere around.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Then I
Definitely,
can
I
like
will add it to my Trello list.
hell yes, and then I can put like your like character sprite somewhere as well, as like a like a sticker
Yeah, maybe
or
like
something. Yeah.
a sticker of a painting, no? Somewhere.
Yeah, on like a walkie-talkie maybe.
Sounds good.
But yeah, that's awesome. All right, man. Thank you for
Thank
joining me today. And yeah, hopefully this rumbling was, somewhat interesting. And yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks everyone for like joining. And if you're like watching this, after it's no longer live, thank you as well for checking in and seeing what we are doing to finish this game. And yeah, hopefully everyone is looking forward to what we have. And yeah, we will continue to do our best to reach the finish line, and we're incredibly excited about the last few nights. And yeah, looking forward to
Sounds good.
finishing everything. And all right, I
Sounds
guess
good, bro.
without further ado, I say good night to everyone. And
Yep.
yes, have a good one.
Thank you, Martin. And speak to you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye bye. Ta-da!